number of people coming together in different coalitions to do this and to organize the different events during the week. One of the things that I feel has really come out of this is a unity between our groups, a unity in our purpose and a unity in the way in which we go about our work, that instead of fighting among each other, we have established some principles of how we will act so that we can keep that unity, keep the focus on the message that we want to bring forth, the issues, and not be divided. For instance, you know, when these raids happened this week, there was tremendous support from all of the people protesting.
I understand too. I understand also that your daughter was arrested this week in one of the protests or one of the raids.
Yes, yes. So you'll understand if I take this somewhat personally. Yes, a number of people were were arrested in these raids. Again, very violent raids by the police.
And these are this is St. Paul. I'm sorry to interrupt. This is St. Paul Police or Minneapolis Police, or
these raids were led by the Ramsey County Sheriff, which seems to be taking the lead in this. But Minneapolis and St. Paul Police were involved, as well as I don't know how many other jurisdictions. At my daughter's house, you know, the fire trucks came up with the hazardous material units. You know, they took lots and lots of stuff out of her garage. I watched as they took old tires out, cans of paint. You know, they made a big deal about, you know, kryptonite bike locks. Well, they own bikes, you know. There were just any number of things that were taken out, perfectly innocent kinds of things. They got a search warrant that allowed them to search for basically anything. They also, and in a way that shows what the real intent of this is, they took all the literature that was in the house. You know, that was for distribution this week, so that the violation of free speech is very clear there. But more than that is the intimidation that they try to do, and the very real charges and the very danger there is to these people. I'm happy to report that my daughter actually was released last night, so I'm tremendously relieved this morning. But there are 5 more people at least in jail still on those conspiracy charges, and this is of great concern to us, and my daughter could still be charged. So this, you know, I'm outraged, and I believe, you know, we have gotten tremendous support from throughout the community. The people who've organized the protests from all the different groups and all the different perspectives on the issues and different perspectives on how to protest have found this to be an outrageous violation, and coming as a preemptive sort of strike before the protests even start. So I'm very encouraged by that, and even just the neighbors, like in my daughter's neighborhood, were very, very supportive. They said, "What are the police doing here? This is totally hysterical." It's an hysterical reaction. We've been seeing that from the beginning.
We go next to Lakeville, Massachusetts. Good morning. You're talking with David Bickings.
Hello, this is Ellen Alenian from Lakeville, Massachusetts, and I'm just calling to let David Bicknell know that he's a liar, he's deceitful to the world. His daughter was raided, and they caught her with urine. I mean, have you forgotten that the news showed all that? I mean, is that a peaceful type of organization? And first of all, another thing, Mr. Bicknell,
yes,
you're not entitled to anything, not even free health care. Where in the Constitution does it say that anyone is entitled to anything free in this country?
Lakeville, Massachusetts, let me ask you, where did you read about the arrest of Mr. Bickings' daughter? Where did you see
I saw it on the news. They got gallons of urine. I mean, is that a peaceful solution, or is that kind of like a white terrorist is what he is?
Let's let our guest respond.
Okay, yes, thanks for the chance to respond, and I know those kind of things have gone out. So I can understand why people believe these kind of stories when they see the sheriff lay out all this kind of material. The urine, first of all, none of that came from my daughter's house, what they claimed to be urine. There was another house that was raided as Food Not Bombs Collective. People lived there, and at least 2 of those buckets were what's called gray water, drain water from the sink or from doing dishes that they kept next to the toilet in the bathroom in order to help flush the toilet using less water. A very sustainable, ecological thing to do. And now they're being accused of wanting to throw urine on police. No one has talked about throwing urine on police or doing anything of that nature. The one other bucket, well, it came from a house, an apartment not even associated with the people who were arrested or raided, where he did not have a functioning toilet, from what I understand. So this is the way in which certain actually very innocent things can be made to look, you know, hysterically awful. You know, we saw this with other things. They took the bicycle inner tubes and said they could be used as slingshots, and we saw the sheriff's deputies, 2 sheriff's deputies, one held each end of the bicycle inner tube, and the sheriff pulled back the middle. Well, this is absurd. No one would bring a 3-man slingshot to a demonstration. No one is bringing any means of violence to these demonstrations. There has not been a history of demonstrators initiating any violence whatsoever, and very little in self-defense against the very great violence that we've experienced from police in many past demonstrations.
Next call is Port St. Lucie, Florida, a supporter of Senator Obama.
Good morning.
Hi.
I just want to say this. I live in a city where we just experienced Tropical Storm Faye, and it looks like we might be experiencing another Hurricane Hannah. And, you know, I hear all these people on TV, all these politicians talking about coming to Louisiana to show support. You know, we were disenfranchised with Francis and Jean. Everybody talks about Katrina. But I don't have a problem with free protesting. I mean, peaceful protesting, as long as you're peaceful about it. I just think people have a right to protest and say whatever they need to say. The Republicans need to be protested against because, you know, it's everything about the mainstream media is about what they have to say and their opinions about things. So I just mainly wanted to say that, you know, we don't really need President Bush. We don't really need all these people coming to Louisiana. And I really wish McCain would have chosen a better candidate. If he had chosen our Governor Chris, I might have would have voted for him. You know, this whole thing about choosing a woman, not necessarily the best idea because, you know, to me it's insulting to women to choose somebody who's not really that intelligent. I'm not saying that she doesn't have a brain and she's not intelligent, but he didn't choose the best female candidate as a VP.
Thanks, Florida. David Bicking, you have a woman atop your Green Party ticket. What do you think about the choice of Governor Palin and the Republican Party?
Yes, well, I don't think the most significant thing about her choice, about the choice, is that she is a woman, nor is it the most significant thing about our choice of a candidate that she is a woman. It's the positions of the candidates and their history and what we can trust them to do should they become president. That is by far the most important thing. That said, it is an historic statement, and it is an indication of change when a woman is chosen. But I think it was a rather cynical move on the part of the Republicans, and for us it was a natural thing because Cynthia McKinney was and is a very, very good candidate based on her record in Congress and based on the position she's taken. And one of the things she's talked a lot about is the disaster of Hurricane Katrina and the follow-up to that, and how that indicated the racism within our society, and how that indicated that our government is not here to serve the people as it should be. The people shouldn't be serving the government should serve the people. And to the greatest extent, as you say, it isn't about, you know, the candidates coming down to the South to deal with these hurricanes. It's about the government facilitating people being able to do this and to have the resources to do this on their own, because the power should be with the people.
David Bicking of the Minnesota Green Party, thank you for joining us this morning from St. Paul.
Well, thank you very much.
That'll about do it for this morning's Washington Journal.